Hello, and welcome to the Juneteenth 196-2020 Special Edition B-H Brilliant Minds Project, Inc. is an honor to bring to you invited guests who are going to share their stories from past to present. B-H Brilliant Minds Project, Inc. understands the importance of leaving a legacy that will carry on after we're gone. We know we have the responsibility in keeping our stories alive, creating opportunities for our voices of our communities to be heard and seen. The Juneteenth 196-2020 Special Edition will capture the essence of why we are celebrating and honoring the backs, the shoulders of our ancestors, who we are standing on. Their faith, their resilience, their strength, their blood, sweat, and tears are the building blocks for the generation to come. Blowing into the winds is what we are doing of creation as we create and prepare the brilliant minds of the future towards excellence. And I want to thank you, Shell T, for being here today. And it is an honor and a privilege to get this opportunity to do a personal interview with you. So my first question for you, sis, is tell me, it's a couple questions all in one, you know how we do. Tell me about your upbringing, your family, and your passion.
Okay. So upbringing, I was born and raised in San Francisco, California. I lived there until I was about 18 years old. I like to let people know that I have been every statistic under the sun. Starting off, I grew up in a neighborhood where there was some gangs, and I ran with gangs, and I sold drugs, and I had my first child when I was 15 years old, and moved out of San Francisco because I got to the point one day I was literally walking down the street and I was afraid. Every car that would come by, I was afraid, and I was thinking to myself, not so much for me, but I had a 2-year-old kid that was walking with me. So I moved out of San Francisco and moved over into Contra Costa County, where I thought that I was the biggest, baddest thing out there. You come from San Francisco and you go to Pittsburgh, you're like, yeah.
Yeah, big difference.
I'm about to take over this place. This is so you think you leave somewhere to go somewhere to get a better opportunity, but then you find yourself in the same situation, just kind of because you're used to a certain crowd and a certain way of doing things. I grew up with mom and a dad in a home, and until they got divorced. And even in the process of life, I dealt with child molestation. Like I said, every statistic under the sun I have dealt with, and got to a point where in Pittsburgh, Antioch, I got a job, and that job seemingly to be something that was bettering my life kind of brought everything to a forefront, because the person that I was working for kept telling me that, the job you have and the money you make, I literally got off welfare on that job. You'll never be able to do this because you don't have a college education. You don't have the ability to get this kind of money. And I didn't want to go back to welfare. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't been on welfare all my life. I had worked, but when I moved out, I had got assistance. And I didn't want to go back. $425 a month was difficult.
Right.
You don't realize that until you actually start paying for stuff. I remember the first time I got that job, and I was like, man, I don't need this. And I didn't fill out my CA-7 form, and I was out there, my chest was all swole up. Don't need no welfare. Man, I went went to the grocery store, and you know when you got food stamps, you shop a little different.
You sure did.
I got to that counter, that lady was like $200, and I was like, real money? Wait, you want $2 real $100? So that's when you start realizing that steak and shrimp ain't really necessary to survive. You don't.
That's right.
So she had it held over my head, and unfortunately, when you're in a position where you're feeling like you're stuck somewhere, you don't want to go back, you allow people to do things to you that you normally wouldn't let them do. Now, I grew up in situations where I've been molested, and I had kept my mouth shut and didn't say anything. And that trained me to be in the same position. She may not have been, of course, physically molesting me, but she was molesting my mental state and my ability to be free. And so I got to that point to where I lost it and I snapped, and I thought to myself, I'm gonna kill this lady. And I started planning exactly how I was going to do it, and how I was going to wait for her outside of her home, and I was going to take her out. And then I said, and now I'm killing myself. And I said, wait a minute, wait a minute. I said, this ain't right. this ain't right. Went and got some help, and started getting some therapy. And it reached all the way back to dealing with, all the situations that I dealt with before, molestations and all of those things. And it brought it all to the forefront. And it gave me the ability to realize that the things that happen to us when we're young, we begin to build who we are on those things, even when we think we don't. And I ended up getting out of that situation, going to get some therapy, went to school and got a degree, and walked away from that job and haven't turned back since. Literally have been working for myself since 2006. And so I don't know if I went too far in my story.
No. This is the most important thing, is that this is your interview. This is your story. And what we're trying to let everybody know through our Juneteenth 196 is that everybody's story counts just as well as our ancestors. And it's for us to continue to make sure we are allowing other folks to hear, because their experience may be the same, or it's like, wow, my situation is not as bad as someone else's.
Right.
And, so this is about us. This is about you. So no, you're not going too far, but I do want you to definitely let us know. I know you're talking about your childhood. Let us know about the family and your passion. But before we even go there, I just want to let everybody know that's participating in this series on this show today is that you're giving the B-HBrilliantMinds Project Inc. authorization to use your voice, your picture, and your comments. So we just want to make sure we share that information with everyone. So go right ahead.
Yes. So when we talk about family, are we talking about current family or family that I grew up in?
Family you grew up in and current family.
Okay. So like I said, I have a mom and a dad.
Two of them got together.
I grew up with two siblings, and we're a very small family, very focused. We talk about ancestors and things like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Over the past couple of years, I really got an opportunity to get to know my grandma and her siblings. I mean, you're always around them and things like that, especially when you're kids growing up. But I didn't realize that when my aunt passed, it hit me that entire generation is now gone. And it was like, wow, you don't really realize that it comes to an end. And so my goal was to spend as much time with her as possible. And now just to look back and remember how amazing they were. They were strong. When I did my grandmother's funeral, and I wrote her story, I was able to realize that she had watched this entire country transition and change. It dawned on me how amazing it must have felt for her to actually see a Black president in the White House. Like, you don't really think about those things, that she grew up in the times where, you know, I mean, of course, it hasn't stopped in all these years, but she was in the thick of it, where her birth certificate said Negro and nigger. And, yeah, I mean, it was just like, it was crazy. But just to know that we have that kind of history, right?
Rich history, yes, ma'am.
Right there, if we just take the time and the opportunity to have a conversation with them and to listen to what it is that they have to say, we'll understand a lot. My grandmother was clear cut, and she would tell you like it is, and that was it. That was all. You didn't like it. And some people may have felt that she was mean and she was angry, but she didn't have time to play games. In the era they grew up in, they didn't have time to play games and to pamper and to you know, it was like this is life or death. Every time we move, it's life or death. And so I think it's so important that we consider that and we understand that the mindset is different. And I experienced that. I have 7 children that I've raised. I ain't gonna say gave birth to, because people be like, you had 7 kids, it ain't nowhere in the world. I'm gonna go, no, I ain't gave birth to no 7 children.
What about the ones that gave birth to 14 and 15 and 16? Good.
My hat is off. That's why I say sit down and you have some respect. If them 14 and 15s made it out their house, I wanted to kill the 2 or 3 I had at a time. And you 14 of them, and I ain't in prison? Come on now. Come on now. But, you know, just understanding that they have the ability to teach us and to let us know that the things that we're dealing with right now is things that they've dealt with forever. And when you talk about, you know, I'm not my ancestors, or I'm not this, I'm not that. Come on now. I experienced my daughter, 35 years old, very outspoken. You ain't gonna tell her nothing about what she don't have a right to do or anything like that. And I remember one moment having a conversation with her and just telling her, you've got to stop acting like that, because somebody is gonna hurt you. You know what I'm saying? You get to the police face, and this fear fear just struck me. And it ran through my entire body, and the Holy Spirit was like, that's what it felt like for them. They weren't telling their kids to be meek and to bow down. They were afraid that their children were going to die just because. Not because they did anything, not because they were out being, just because. And when I had that moment, it made me understand. And again, having the opportunity to tell my grandma's story and my great aunt's story and all of their stories, it made me realize that, you know what I'm saying? They weren't weak. They weren't inferior. They were trying to hold on to everything that they had. Because even when they stood up, they were being taken down just because they stood up. So it's a difficult situation, especially when you're trying to raise kids in this day and age, to get them to understand that, yeah, we want you to be proud. Yeah, we want you to stand up. And that's absolutely every right you have. But you got to be smart. You got to be smart. And you have to be in a place, in a position to where you can do what you need to do and live. And so I have 7 kids. Again, I haven't done any prison time.
Thank God.
Glory to God. Glory to God. All of them still here. He's a faithful God. None of them live in my home. Oh, he's a merciful God. Glory
I'm waiting on the day, Jesus.
So I'm excited about that. Me and my husband, we're empty nesters, and we were living in it would seem to be a dream, but just in God's promises right now in every way, shape, or form.
So tell us a little bit about your passion. Your passion. What do you love to do?
I am an entertainer. I am an entertainer.
Okay. Tell us all about
it. I knew it. I said, she got to be a comedian. She got to be something. She's cracking up over here.
Yes. I am a stand-up comedian.
I just everybody in my house. This girl is hilarious. She got to be. And I love her.
Yeah, so I do stand-up comedy. I'm also a writer, producer, and we have an entertainment production company called B-HBrilliant Entertainment right now. I've been doing comedy for the last 16 years. My husband and I, we also own a barbershop. So we are entrepreneurs. Again, through our ancestry, that's what our families on both sides were. They were entrepreneurs, they were business owners, they were making stuff happen out of nowhere. So that's what we do. And we have just, like I said, opened up the barbershop this year, 2020.
Wow,
we opened up. Amen. Thank you. We signed the lease in March of this year, and then everything got shut down. And so, which we were good, because when it got shut down, we were building out anyway. We were supposed to open up in June, and in June is when they lifted the closure, and we opened up in June. And then we ran for 2 months, and everything got shut down. And then the governor said, "You can cut hair outside." And I said, "Baby, we going outside." Because at first he was like, "I don't want it, we don't want it." Hey. The Lord has made a way. Went outside, he started cutting in the front of his barbershop. Let me tell you, it went so well. When it was time to go back in, he still wanted to be outside. I said, baby, look, baby. I said, the people will come in. They will come inside. Just come on in. So my passion, on top of that, we are pastors, so we're in ministry as well. And so my passion is encouraging people through living life, and living life in a way that it brings honor and glory to God, but it also shows that this life is meant to live. It's meant to enjoy, and including everything. I said, including everything. My 15-year-old, my last 3 children were adopted. My 15-year-old decided she wanted to move back with her biological family at the beginning of this year. So with all of that, with everything included, 2020 has been one of the best years of my life. And I tell people all the time, I lived through the 2020 pandemic.
That's right. Well, you know, I want to say also that with what you do, your passion, being able to laugh. Laughter is this medicine. Yes. And to have you in this position to be able to bring laughter and joy to a person's soul and their spirit is really wonderful. You know, even though our ancestors went through, they still took time to laugh. They laugh at themselves, laugh at the situations. Sometimes we take ourselves too serious around here. Yes. And it's like you take yourself too serious, you're gonna have a heart attack because you can't laugh, you can't cry, you can't do anything.
Can't do nothing.
So being able to do that with laughter, when you are on that stage and you are in your zone, what is it that you feel? You know, how how amazing is it to you to be able to have that opportunity to do that for folks?
Wow, to be able to just be in a room with a bunch of people, because I don't tell jokes. I tell people that all the time. I know a lot of comedians say that. I talk about life. I tell you about my situation, my circumstance, my kids, and everything else. And to be in a room with a bunch of people that are laughing because they understand. Mm-hmm. I get it. It makes sense. And just to have that moment where somebody in that crowd is sitting up there going, I thought it was just me. Mm-hmm. Like, thank you. I want to punch my kid in the face too. Thank you. I was ready to go to jail too. Thank you. But to have those moments where you get off stage and people say, you know what? I had just gone through X, Y, and Z, and I needed this. I needed to laugh. I needed this moment. Thank you. That's when I learned and realized that it was literally a ministry.
Yes.
And getting people to feel good, to laugh at themselves, to laugh at situations, to laugh at life, and be able to go the next day and walk right up to it and be like, all right, come on, let's go.
That's right. That's right. So my next question to you would be, why did you choose the profession that you're in, or did it choose you? You touched base on it a little bit, but share that.
I've been in entertainment since I was young, 15. So I started off as a rapper. So I was in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I started off in music. And so I've always had a love of entertainment. And when I was a kid, I remember watching TV. And what would catch my attention all the time is when the credits would go up at the end. Mm-hmm. And I would see the names of the writers and the producers. And I didn't know why it stood out to me when I was young. But as I got older and I got more into entertainment, so my husband and I, we have a movie out called Restored Me. And yeah, so that movie is.
How can people? How would they be able to view it? What would they have to do?
It's available on demand. You go Comcast on demand. It's on Hulu Plus. It's on Amazon. So it's on all digital outlets. It's called Restored Me. And we are actually 2 of the 3 writers of the movie, and we're producers. And I love how God always brings something back to you. So that moment when I used to be a kid and I used to watch these names, Aaron Spellings and all of those names. And then as I got older, it was Jerry Bruckheimer, and all those names would stand out to me. And when we did the screening for the movie and the credits came up, my name was the first name that showed up on the screen. And I was like, okay, God, I see you. And so it's just been that whole writing and producing. We do stage plays and all of those things, and just watching the crowd get it. You know, we do a lot of stuff that's about real life, and it's clean. So it's all family oriented. So it's like your kids can be there, your family can be there. And when those things happen and people get delivered and they get set free and they have these moments of epiphanies like, oh my gosh, I can get through this too. That's what drives me and just fills me up. So comedy, first of all, comedy kept me out of jail. Yeah, honestly, because I'd be ready right then at that point to just like beat up on a kid, and then I get a show. And so then I'd be able to go talk about it. And then the people be like, you right, I know how you feel. And I go home and I can be all right. Okay, you gonna be all right. But it became therapy for me. So for me, being able to talk about it and say things, I tell people all the time, women have the greatest ability to control their emotions. And every time I say that, men look at me like, no, you don't. She be going off all the time. No. And I say, you have no idea what goes through our minds when stuff goes down. I said, there have been times when I have walked outside my house and just looked at it and said, I could burn this whole place down with everybody in it.
Oh my Oh dear, we're not asking anybody to do that now, y'all.
No, we're not. But what we're asking you to do,
we sharing her true feelings and thoughts at moments. We all have moments.
We all have moments, but I tell people we got to talk about that stuff. We got to be able to say that. People be like, don't say that. No, if I don't say it, I'm gonna do it. You better let me talk about it. Let me free my mind, or the rest will follow. But it's that's that mental health. Like if I think I'm the only one feeling this way, then it becomes a problem. But if I have other people that feel that way, we can talk about it, have a conversation and laugh about it or things like that, then I feel better about it. And then I can move on knowing that this too shall pass, that I can get through this, that I can get past this. I'm not the only one that's going through this.
And you know, experiencing trauma in your life, what would you say to a woman that's been in your situation? What is it that you have to do to heal yourself?
Well,
what would you say to her, or, you know?
Well, the first thing I would say is to understand that people operate in free will. That regardless to who the person is, their free will wasn't to attack you as a person. It was to attack your purpose and your spirit. Because if the hurt or the infraction or the transgression can stop you from moving forward, that's the ultimate purpose for it. Me personally, my relationship with God gave me freedom to be able to let go, because that's the biggest thing, letting go. Releasing that little girl or that little boy who has been hurt and broken, and allowing them to become free so that you as the adult can live according to how you've been called to live. And then the last thing, forgive. Forgive those who have trespassed against us, because the forgiveness is not for them, it's for you. Because the sooner that you can let go and you can move forward, the sooner that you can actually see that that's not all your life was about or was for. It's not easy, but it's possible. It's a learned behavior. And it's something that if you work hard at freeing yourself, then it becomes an amazing place with all your scars and your bumps and your bruises and everything you've been through. You can still shine and be everything that God has called you to be. But you got to forgive, let go, and create a relationship with Christ.
Okay. So thank you for sharing that information. When you hear the word purpose, what comes to your mind?
What comes to my mind when I hear the word purpose?
When you hear the word purpose.
I was born with it. I was born with it. I was created with it. It's not something that I had to figure out or I had to find. It was in me from day one. Before day one, because my life was laid out before I even took my first breath. But it was sown into me. I tell people all the time, when you're fearfully and wonderfully made, that you were sown intricately. And in all those moments, he sowed my purpose into me. And therefore, there's no way I can get away from it. It's when I understand it is when I can be in the authority and walk in the authority that I've been given.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. And you almost made me forget the one. Look, I'm over here. I'm all in there with you saying and forgot what I was over here supposed to be saying. But no, the next thing I wanted to ask you, when you went to school, what did you go to school for?
I went to school for accounting.
Oh,
went to school for accounting. Yep, because I said nobody will ever put me in that position where I feel like I can't go get a job somewhere else. And then I got my degree and I got a job in accounting and I hated it. I said, "Oh, this ain't for me." I said, I need to be around people. So I can't be in this piece of paper. We having real deep conversations, and I said, "This ain't healthy." So yeah, so I had to get out the office. I said, no, I need to be with people. So I started working back out on the production floor, managing and supervising. I said, I can't, this ain't for me. But if I ever need it,
there you go.
Fall back on.
And that's the key. That's the key. And when you said that, it was just, that's basically what we're trying to let our kids know, that it's important to get, life is good. Life is life, and life's going to be life. But you do want to have something, your gifts and talents that you want to fall back on. But you said purpose is already built in you. So it's so important for us to ignite and bring awareness to the purpose in our children when we see them doing certain things. I'm like you, come from entrepreneurship. We're like you, come from entrepreneurship. And when I see somebody doing something, I'm like, oh, you know, you can make that out of a business. Blah, 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 blah. You know, so being able to push people forward just as well as we push ourselves. So what the word scars, what does your scars mean to you?
My scars mean that I am victorious. It means that I have overcome things that people can't even imagine. That I can look at my scar and I can say, you know what? You didn't win. You didn't win. And so every time I see you, it must feel bad because you were trying to kill me. You was trying to stop me. You was trying to keep me from this right here. I tell people all the time, I look at myself, I'll be like, I am so cute. I am so cute. And they be like, you conceded? I'll be like, nah, I'm just catching up for lost time. I am cute. I wish I'd have known this years ago. This puff right here, I wish I would have known this year how cute this curly hair is years ago. If I would have known back then, I'd probably be a hot mess right now. That's probably why God was like, let me calm her down, because she gonna be a girl. Your skin. If I would have known back then how beautiful this melanin is.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I'd be like, I am gorgeous. I am beautiful. They be like, you can see it. Nah, baby, I'm playing catch up. I owed myself.
So you getting back what the cankerworms ate up them years.
Exactly.
God said he'll give you back what the years that the cankerworm ate up.
Yes, I love it. I love that natural. I love loving me. And I talked to Keisha, like, I still want to get rid of this booty hanging in the front of my belly. I don't want that, but I still love the skin I'm in. I just want to clarify that. It's just certain areas I want to be hoisted up.
Hey. And you know, that leads right into my next question is about self-care. What do you do for self-care?
I got to a point where I was working out because I realized that life wasn't right when you start dropping stuff and you got to have a conversation before you pick it up. I was there. It was all right till I start dropping money and leaving it, and then I was like, we got to fix this. This ain't right. So I started working out. I started getting with this program. I got with a gym and started working out, and then I lost I lost 50 pounds. How much did I lose? I lost a lot of weight. Because I realized I wanted to live. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be to the point where I'm grown and my kids is gone and now I could barely move. I can't get up. You know, my feet was hurting. I was dreading waking up in the morning. I said, this got to stop. I really started working out because my son started working out. And you know, he already thought he could take me. I said, wait. Wait a minute. But so now my husband and I, we're actually on a no sugar challenge that we started on our show yesterday. We started working out together again because again, we have a purpose for being here. And the one thing I don't want to do is get to heaven and see Jesus and he told me I committed suicide. Because if he's telling me here every day, stop eating that, stop doing that, take care of yourself, and I know what I'm doing is causing me to die, then I'm literally committing suicide because I already knew that this wasn't good for me. And so that was the thing. And to be there after you've committed suicide, knowing that you didn't accomplish the goals that he put for you, I said, nah. I said, I don't want to get slapped by the Holy Spirit like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do something with myself, and just because I want to live. I don't have no kids right now. I want to be free. I want to run. I want to run through a field. Okay, I don't like grass, so I don't really want to run through a field. But if I chose to, I want to be able to. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes. So that leads me to my next question would be, what would you like to create, share, or give to the world for your legacy?
I would like to give, share, and create the ability to support one another. To understand that what's yours is yours, and what God has for you is for you, and you never lose anything by supporting somebody else. You never get anything less by giving somebody else a hand or a piece of knowledge or some wisdom or, a way of doing things. We get so scared that if I tell somebody this, or if I share my flyer with them, or if I let them see something else, that you all of a sudden are going to be left alone. And that's just not how it is. So there's a group that I'm putting together. It's called the Northern California Entertainment Collective. And that is going to be people that come together that are in the entertainment industry, that are working to support each other in Northern California. It's not that we need to do the same thing, but in order for us to really be who we're supposed to be in Northern California, with all the talents and the gifts and the things that we have here, then everybody got to be doing their own thing, but we got to be supporting each other in it. And so that's what I would like to leave with people, the desire to want to see your brother and your sister be on the same level as you are. Because if we're okay with it when it's bad, we okay. It's all right for you to be next to me when I'm not doing well, but I want to see you do that with me when we're doing great at the same time.
And society has conditioned us to do that to one another, and it's not what we're supposed to be doing. It's not our purpose here in life. Our purpose is to encourage and motivate somebody else, and to give ourselves away and give our gifts away. And still, God said, now to still let that be your room, your gift will make room for you now.
Yes.
Look, I know all about that for many years of giving away, of giving away. And it's like, now I'm like, wait a minute now, hold it.
Right.
Look, my gifts that I got now, how can I get a little bit of something out of this now? Everybody else.
Exactly.
Even though I get a pleasure out of it, but God said, your gift will make room for you. And I'm looking for my gift to come on and continue to make room.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's real, because, and I mean that in the same sense too, where we support each other's businesses. We support each other, what we have. It's like, I want to see you do well. And so, I'm going to come to your business and I'm going to support your business. I'm going to purchase it. Sometimes I'm going to purchase it because I want it. Don't get me wrong. If I don't want it, hey, I don't want it.
Right.
But if I have an opportunity, so if I'm doing a business and I have a consulting business and I have information for you and my business is consulting, I have this rate. Come in and pay the rate and let me give you this knowledge and this wisdom based on what it is that I'm doing. Let's support each other in what we've been called to do. And so that's my thing, like I do Christian entertainment, and I'm a Christian who entertains, period. So people ask me, well, what's the difference? The difference is I'm a Christian regardless to what I do. So wherever you see me at, that's what you're going to get, is a Christian. I happen to be an entertainer. So when you go to some ministries and some churches and things like that, they want you to, just sow your gift. sow your gift in, into the body. And, I'm not saying I don't do that, but
Right.
I need to eat. This is my job. Can I sow half my gift? Can you pay me the other half or something? I mean, come on now. But they have caused us in entertainment to feel like we shouldn't be able to ask. Or, there's family and friends that I had a tour last year, and I had a family member come to the tour. And she was like, how much is the tickets? And I was like, well, they're $20. Dang. Why? I can't do it. I'm just not going to go. Bye. Bye. And it's not because that, I'm saying, yeah, I could have let you in, but it's because you didn't value the ticket. You didn't value what you were going to receive for that $20. So because of that, okay, bye boo. Love you. See you at the next family reunion, but okay. And that's what I mean. Being able to have value, honor, and respect for what we are doing next to one another, which all it does is raise us all up to the standards that we're all trying to reach.
And on that note, along with being able to get people to understand our ancestors, that was the importance of them owning their business. Our dollar can circulate in our community with African Americans just as well as the other national ethnicities. Right. So what people don't get is that the reason why they can do things is because when people go buy from them, their own is going to go buy from them.
Yeah.
So that's how their communities is able to be sustainable, because that dollar or whatever it is circulates around in that place. It could go around 50 times. In ours, it barely go around once.
Right.
So
right.
That's what we're trying to get people to get in the mindset of our ancestors. The reason why they created these. Okay, if you were to look around in most cities across the country, we have a Chinatown, we have Hispanic, nothing against nobody. Right. But you don't see, we need to understand the game on what's being played about. Why don't you see a black town? Right. It's because they know then when you have that, we're rising up and we're building each other up and we're helping each other elevate. Right. Just as well as others are. And if we don't have, that's why you don't see it. Right. Do you know how important it is for our ancestors? What they did is that when we walk, it's a certain kind of swag you have and feeling you have when you go amongst your coach in your own, where you're in, like if it was when you go in Chinatown, just for example, you see those kids, their culture, you see everything about them. So that not only feeds to their spirit, it feeds to them about how we are to support each other. And it's a must. It's not they have to do that. Right. So getting us to realize that's why they burnt all our businesses down. That's why they did all these things to our ancestors, for we couldn't have this anymore. The Renaissance, all these different things. What our kids need to do, what the parents need to do, I don't care how mad those children get. Sit them down and watch one of the movies, allowing them to see.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Exactly. No, I'm in full agreement. We have to get them to the point to where they are no longer distant from the struggle. That's what happened. We spent so much time trying to give them this life that was just given to them. Like, I don't want my kid to have to struggle. Now, of course, that came from crack, which takes us back to our original conversation, because they was trying to take the Panthers out and everything else. So they was like, let's give you some crack in your community. And oh, wait, we didn't realize it was gonna go everywhere. Wow. So when it started there, because we used to have a community.
Yes.
I remember having that village. I remember everybody in the village was a part of the households, and you knew who was doing what, and nobody could get away with anything because if my mama didn't see it, they mama saw it. And so that was the whole village. And then crack came in and nobody wanted anybody in their business. It was like, get up my business. Don't tell me nothing about my kid because I'm smoking dope right now. So it was just like all of that stuff came into play, and it separated us in the village. And so with us right now, we have to realize that the systemic racism that has been in place, that has been set in place in order for us to fear success, because that's where it comes from. We're afraid. So my point in going to school, I may not have gone to school because I was going to be an accountant for the rest of my life. Me being educated let me know that I didn't have to take what I was taking from this individual. So now it's not my accounting degree that has me in the ability to walk into anybody's room, anybody's atmosphere, anybody's office and be like, yes, my name is Michelle T. Can we sit down and talk? It is the fact that I know that I have something that you can't take from me. And that confidence has given me the ability to walk out and step out and be an entrepreneur, to step out and run a business, or to raise my kids in the manner that I would want them to be raised. So it's having things that can't be burnt away, can't be burnt down, can't be taken, and instilling that into our kids. Instead of buying your kids a $500 phone and a $200 pair of shoes, make them invest their money in that company. Make them realize that I don't want my kids, I don't chase name brands, I create name brands. How about we do that? And having that mindset, because then we're not a slave to every whim and trend and thing that comes and goes, because we have something that's more solid and sustainable to pass down from generation to generation.
And you said the magic word, to be enslaved. What people don't understand is that the game is still being played. It's right. Just if you changing your mindset, understanding that when you, now how you gonna buy a kid that don't clean your room, wash these dishes, but I'm working and I'm going to pay you buy you some tennis shoes that's $300 to do what?
Right. And they cell phone bill come in at the same time your PG&E bill come in, and that report card that they got all them B's in. It all came in the same delivery. But they on the phone Snapchatting.
Exactly.
Okay.
And but there it is again. You said it earlier, is that we say that, oh, we don't want to have our kids go through what we did, but we all right. It developed us into who we are today. So right. How is it? Why are you not understanding that life is going to bring you struggles? Life is going to be life. Dealing with that is going to happen. So you're preparing them more so for than just, and then showing them how to earn it. Yes. You have more respect when you earn it, when you just get it, because then when you buy them $300, $100, $50 tennis shoes, when they walk on the back of them or scruff them up and because the reason why they doing that is because they didn't have to pay for it.
They have to do nothing for it. Kids nowadays, it drives me crazy. I don't get it. That's why I'm not meant to be a parent in 2020, because I ain't scared of CPS. Come, did you whoop her? Yep, sure did. Let me tell you why. Well, you probably shouldn't. Yeah, well, she shouldn't have did what she did, doggone it. But we don't. We're too afraid to be parents. Everybody want to be friends. I ain't got no friends. If you can't pay my rent, you are not my friend. We are not on the same level. We don't have nothing to talk about. You talking about stuff that done happened at lunchtime. I'm talking about these lights and electricity, and you don't understand. We ain't friends.
It's crazy. I told my kids growing up, now I'll be your friend, but I'm your mother first.
Yeah.
Look, and I'm not here to be, like you said, I'm not here to be your friend. You can get mad at me if you want. However, what we don't understand and what our ancestors was trying to teach us is that if you don't, somebody gonna have to deal with authority. So the training is you're not trying to make them not be scared of them, but you're trying to make them understand that even on your job, even in your boss or you running a company, there is somebody that you have to answer to.
Right.
Even if you got to answer to yourself. Go ahead.
And you got to respect it. You got to respect it. You can't, I'm going to run my own business. Really? Why don't you run this PE class you failing in because you won't get dressed? How about we run that? Like I told my friend, my daughter called me one day and she was like, Mom, she was like, I need your information. And I was like, wait, why? Oh no, why? She was like, because I'm filling out for my benefits. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. She's like, Mom, I need your Social Security number. To hold up. Wow. She said, because I'm going to make you my beneficiary. And I was like, oh. And she said, why'd you do that? I said, because we just officially became friends. That's what we friends. That's what we can have conversations. That's what we can talk. Oh, you got benefits? Oh, something happened. I get the money. Girlfriend, how you doing today?
That's right. And you know, and what I told my kids when they were growing up is that it was this. Now, school is your job, like I'm going to my job. Mm-hmm. What the parents fail to realize is that when they go to school, this is for training for a job.
Yeah.
You got to be on time. You got to go and you got to collect all this information. You got to be engaged. All that was training for work.
Right.
You know, or for you owning your own business. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We have to get back to the principles. I mean, kids nowadays, they do whatever they want. And they're not even just kids. I mean, it was at some point when we were kids and then we got grown and we left. Now we got people who got 30-year-old kids in their house and nobody want to do nothing. My kid was here for a minute and I was like, bruh, I'm sitting up here whispering in the hallways to my husband, talking about, where's she leaving? Did she pay the rent? Nah, you got to go. It is time for you to be an adult. If you can't be an adult 24/7, then this ain't gonna work. Because I'm sorry, I need adults in here. And so just being in that place where we're just allowing them to be. But one thing that I understand, I'm not gonna have to answer for not raising you right. So whatever it takes, you ain't gotta like me. That's fine. Don't like me. It's okay. Because it's gonna be a moment when you're gonna sit back as an adult and you're gonna be like, man, I'm so glad I'm so glad that she said that she did. Because if you don't want to sit in my classroom, life got a classroom for you. Hey, and they're gonna teach you whether you want it or not. You know, I just tell my kids all the time, you can go to training camp or you can go through boot camp. The choice is yours.
That's right.
Regardless, you're going to get it, but you can get it the regular way or you can get it shoved down your throat, one way or the other. So my kids started running away. I was like, okay, one of us had to go.
Oh, God. Well, you know, that it's been fun. Yes. And laughter is medicine. And you definitely made us laugh today. And I know our ancestors are laughing because of what we're doing. Amen. We're building off of what they left for us. Yes. And that is definitely in the spirit of holding each other up. And being there when we need to and sharing our life stories and sharing our information. And I know our time is well spent, and I know that you have a hubby that you got to make sure you go and you entertain.
Amen. and the spirit of the Lord right behind the camera. Like, how long we got going? How much longer we got?
and I'm not gonna hold him no longer because I know that it is so important for us to make sure we entertain. You entertain your mate and we entertain ours. Amen. So we understand that. But I just want to say that B.H. Brilliant Minds Project Inc. will continue to invite folks to be a part of the Juneteenth 196. The reason why we started Juneteenth 196 was if you were to, because we couldn't celebrate it like we normally do, you know, but we wanted to make sure that everybody was safe. And what we decided to do was to do a virtual one. So if you was to count June 19th to December the 31st, it's a total of 196 days. And that was given to me by the ancestors to do because I felt really, really bad that we couldn't do it. But because of COVID-19, we wanted to make sure that everybody stays safe. Right. And we wanted to, because we know how important it is. Most importantly, again, the Juneteenth 96 special, this is the special 2020 edition. And our theme was, we are the breath of our ancestors. We will never break because we are history shakers and makers. And it was in honor of acknowledging that Black culture, Black lives, and Black breath and Black lives do matter. Amen. And we are constantly saying it loud because we're Black and we are proud. Amen. And we definitely want to thank our sponsor this evening, the Win Rose Fund of the Human Council Foundation. The Win Rose Fund of the Human Council Foundation. We definitely want to thank them for giving us the opportunity to do these personal interviews and to tell the stories of our people that life does matter. Your story does count. Amen. So we just want to say thank you for this opportunity, for being here. And we're going to let you have the last word. And then we're going to get off because I know hubby is like, hey, sister, go ahead.
It's my time.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you, Bernice, as always. And that's what I'm talking about. Just being able to support and to just love on one another, just to continue to build. We are here with a purpose, on purpose. And right now it's our time. It might seem like it's a tragic time, but it's a birthing time. So for all of y'all that's walking around pregnant, it's time to give birth. Bring it on.